Welcome to Brainstorm MTG. I'm ELD, and this is Fast Effect. Here we have a blue-white Stoneblade mirror. Lucas versus John. See what actually factors end up being important here. Lucas with a Delver of Secrets, an early start. John with a Stoneforge Mystic, which gets dazed. Stoneforge incredibly good in this type of matchup, but as we saw, a little bit harder to resolve than that 1-mana Delver. Down the second time, and now a Stifle on the trigger. Does John have the equipment in his hand for just an absolute blowout situation? Has yet to flip this Delver. Kind of an ideal start, getting an early Delver, but you really need it to flip for it to be relevant. 1-1 Wizard Beat's not going to get there. Going to go ahead and be gaining some life. Once that card is flipped, it is going to also transform the Delver. Flooded Strand, and now John actually has the Batterskull in hand. Brutal 5 coming in, including the Stoneforge. Life gain starting. Just a couple of basics here for John so far. Now a true name Nemesis, but that will not win the race versus Batterskull. Will hold off the germ for quite some time. See if he can give this guy wings or not. Snapcaster or a Ponder. True name especially dangerous once it starts carrying equipment of its own. Brainstorm, the J Spellbook. True name forced into defense. Does not want to be aggressive as of yet with a significant crackback. Essentially turning into a 2-turn clock and not going to net any actual damage as that Batterskull starts to push through the lifelink damage. Now we've got a Stoneforge Mystic connecting to the board. Is he going to go with Batterskull? Very tempting. Goes for the bigger, splashier play. A perfect time for John to draw a Wasteland. Knock Lucas off of his game plan. Towards the Plowshares. Not hugely impactful. Lucas. Oh, he's still not at 5 though. All right. He can get to 5 mana. He can hardcast this Batterskull. Gonna need 5 to equip it to the true name Nemesis anyways. Blocking, no damage, no life gain. Another Brainstorm. That's a basic Plains over there. That's really throwing me for a loop. I do not recognize that card at all. And Council's Judgment. That gets a Force of Will pitching to Fury. Force of Will back. And ooh, interesting. So Council's Judgment actually getting that Batterskull could have been returned. Mizawa's Jite, that gets a hard counter. Force the Will, hard cast, 3 more damage coming in. Swords to Plowshares, and that cuts the clock way down, going from 3 damage a turn to just 1. Jace the Mind Sculptor, gonna pop in. Got a decision to make. Is this gonna be an expensive Brainstorm? Can Fate Seal himself or his opponent? Puts the land on the bottom, trying to prevent a hard cast. And a Jace of his own. And this Jace is going to be much, much better for Lucas than John's is. John, with the writing on the wall, uses the Brainstorm this turn. 1 damage at the opposing Jace. A lot of symmetry on the board, now broken with this True Name Nemesis clearing out that other Jace. And seeing a Force of Will, which may be tempting. He has Force in hand already, though. Gonna keep it. And now brainstorming with Jace. Delver of Secrets. And Swordsing that Stoneforge Mystic, leaving John with no non-land permanents. Another Jace coming down. Force Fluster. True Name really taking over the game. We got 6 unblockable damage per turn, just a 3-turn clock, all the way down from 16 to 0 in 3 turns if John doesn't get something going here. Now it is likely that he'll take 3 of this damage off to clear the Jace. He does. And another Delver, which is likely to flip. We're looking at just massive damage incoming here. John gonna need essentially a Terminus or a Supreme Verdict, but not sure if those are in the list. It is listed as blue-white Stoneblade. This is not exactly Miracles. Anytime that you get Stoneforge Mystic in there, kind of pulls you off of that Miracles mindset. But Supreme Verdict could be a card in his 75. These builds do want to commit to the board a bit more than Miracles. So Sweeper's certainly not something you're going to run a ton of, but would you want access to it? Now 9 damage going to be coming in. A couple of insects and this True Name Nemesis. And if any one of them survives the next turn, this is likely moving on to game 2. There we go. John scooping it up. True Name Nemesis outlasting the threats on the other side of the board. Do gotta wonder about not picking up that Batterskull, though. Seems like a potentially missed opportunity. Batterskull can be so grindy, playing it, replaying it, swinging for 4 each turn. Really would have kept that True Name Nemesis back on the other side. Now, of course, those Delvers still would have been a huge problem. And Lucas never finding the Batterskull mana of his own to be able to cast that and equip it. That's really when True Name starts to get pretty terrifying, is when he's carrying some type of sword. Batterskull, Umezawa's Jite, Sword of Fire and Ice. Ants, if you will. Suiting him up is very dangerous, and really leverages his protection from opponent. And is a lot better than protection from everything, because he can, in fact, hold on to that equipment and just really push those stats. him hitting for 7 each turn and having lifelink and being able to stay home with vigilance to prevent any type of crackback is just an incredible amount of life gain. Does make it hard to win the old-fashioned way by attacking with creatures. John here with the play in game number 2. And leading out quietly with an island. Lucas, on the other hand, Tundra, Ponder. John would actually rather resolve his Brainstorm first. On putting some thought into this land drop, elects to go with a Flooded Strand and then crack it. Going to be getting rid of 1 card off of that Brainstorm. Had to draw the other one for turn. A Tundra enabling a Stoneforge Mystic, which resolves, and he's going to grab the Batterskull. Stoneforge on the other side of the table, which also resolves. So a lot of symmetry here so far. Brainstorm now for John, so he will not be able to swords the opposing Stoneforge and get in Batterskull this turn. Likely looking for the removal here to avoid the standoff. But no, he has to pass. So Stoneforge, you're going to be able to activate during the end step. Wasteland. Oh, and John not activating in response to that Wasteland. I do not believe it was sick. I mean, it was untapped, right? A white mana relocated. During the end step, we've got a Batterskull coming in. Untap. And is that a disenchant in hand? Oh, that'll be absolutely filthy. 4 damage coming in. If John is playing around this disenchant effect, a fetch land gets stifled. 1 mana Stone Rain. Not bad. Council's Judgment on the other side of the board. A new threat in Lucas's hand. 1 more damage coming in. And the noose just tightening here for John. Under pressure from this Batterskull. Got a Swords to Plowshares on the Germ. Not a huge disruption, just going to be able to pick that up and put it back down. Oh, and instead going with True Name Nemesis. Going to look to give this guy some pants. But no, he is Force-a-willed. Pitching Force. That True Name was a huge threat. John expending 2 of his best cards to prevent that blowout scenario. Once he starts holding Batterskull, things are very, very bad. Even without the Batterskull at 12 life, True Name a very real threat. And now finally we see Stoneforge activated. And that is going to get disenchanted. Perhaps what was being played around previously. Tough to say. That disenchant. Now the Stoneforge is going to allow for this Batterskull to be put back down. Narset finding Jace the Mind Sculptor. Narset like a Leovold with a dig through time duct taped onto it. Just incredible card. Generating card advantage. Now a Asian alt art Japanese anime style Narset. Finding a Ponder. Lucas just looking to one up in every category here. These squires able to block each other. These 1/2 Stoneforge Mystics going to prevent these Narsets from being cleared. At least for now. Stoneforge Mystic puts in Batterskull, and that germ does not stick around for long. Delaying the inevitable, though. Batterskull can get picked up and put back down, or can just go ahead and throw it right onto this Stoneforge Mystic. See what he elects to do. Jace the Mind Sculptor. And he can start fate sealing John right out of the game. Swords to Plowshares on this Stoneforge. Attacking for 1 at the Narset. Snapcaster coming in. He's got the Swords to Plowshares in there. He's going to be able to swords this Stoneforge Mystic and then use the Snapcaster to start clearing Planeswalkers. So Snapcaster Swords, just a blowout here. John was in terrible shape, but really clawing his way back into it. A Jace of his own now, which can Brainstorm now that Narset's out of the way. Who can maintain control over the board? Council's Judgment. That gets Force of Willed. Another Force in Lucas's hand. He's going to go ahead and use that Force back. Fate sealing up. And Snapcaster Mage not going to be able to clear this Jace on his own. He's going to need some help. And True Name arrives just in time. Snapcaster. Council's Judgment, clearing that True Name. What a back and forth game we have. That True Name was a huge threat. And Snapcaster just arriving to play a game of chicken with the opposing Snapcaster. 11 life. Lucas is going to be fine letting his Jace take a little bit of damage or paying his life total. He's happy if that Snapcaster taps. John, absolutely not the beatdown player right now. Equipping with Batterskull, 6 and a chump block. With Snapcaster Mage, keeping this Narset alive. Lucas contemplating what to do with this card. Says, go ahead, keep it. John gonna fetch. Trusting that Lucas wasn't gonna give him anything too good. And Supreme Verdict, it is in the list. Something that I was wondering. It had its way in there. That is just a really powerful card that can win you games in Magic. that nothing else will. Dropping a land, saying go. Does this Delver flip? It does with a Flusterstorm. That's going to make resolving spells even harder. Just a 2-turn situation here for Lucas. Fate Sealing, sees a counter spell, says that's absolutely fine. I've done everything that I want to be doing. That's going to require casting spells. Got it from here. There's the handshake, and Lucas taking it down with some very powerful plays. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.